Este es Aaron con AnaComputers.com, otro video para ti hoy. Wanted to make this video showing you how I am going to service this Mac. I just received a customer today, even on a Sunday, and they brought me this Mac. It's a MacBook Pro, and I will show you what it does when it boots. So you just hit the power button here, and the Apple logo, and then the progress bar. What it's gonna do is it's gonna just go to a blank screen, and instead of troubleshooting now, it could be the hard drive is failing. The customer showed me a screen capture of a failure earlier. I think he tried to run a repair on the hard drive and it failed or wouldn't repair the hard drive. So whenever I get a computer like this, it could be just the operating system is corrupt, but you just never know. So it's best just to back up the data. So you can see the progress bar. Eventually it's going to just go to a blank screen. So I just wanted to show you first what the symptom is. I tried a few things. There's a Control Shift, and then there's all kinds of different combinations. Control Option, PR, but instead, like I said before, especially since the customer showed me a screen capture of the hard drive not being repairable, back up the data. There it goes. So it goes to blank screen. Back up the data and then perform the troubleshooting later. And then I also test these hard drives. I will make videos about all of this. So let me show you the type of Mac it is. It's a MacBook Pro, as you can see. I don't want to get too much of a reflection, but let's see. You should be able to see that it's a MacBook Pro right there. Alright, so then I'll just show you the model number. It's a A1278. I'm not sure if you can see that, if the camera will. It's such small writing, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so now you just need a regular Phillips, or a flathead, or a Phillips. You see how small this one is? It's really small. Now some Macs have non-standard screws, meaning a normal Phillips or a flathead that you would see like on a PC laptop or other electronics. There are different types of screws. These are standard screws, so I don't need special screwdrivers. If you do repair Macs, you're going to need a special set of screwdrivers, because some Macs, you know what, I could probably zoom in. Shall I do that? Just give me a few seconds. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 10 screws. So I should have had this set up, but that's okay. So just give me a few seconds. I just have to open up the software, and then I'll be able to zoom in. It'll make it easier for you to see. So there's the control. Let me zoom in a little bit, and let me move. I think if I move the Mac, if I move it close, then I have to move this down. So let me move this down a little bit, and then I'll move the Mac away, and then I will zoom in. Okay, how about that? So it's just basic screws that you have to remove. This is really weird, the way I have to do this. Okay. That one just dropped out, and then here's another one. You don't want to lose these screws. There's one right there. There's another one. Let me pick up the other one real quick. Okay, put that aside, and then there'll be this one here on the corner. I gotta. This is really awkward. There it is. I have to get a better setup, but for now, this one might be a tough one. Okay, I got it. So you also don't want to strip the screws. So just, you don't want to strip the screws either. But these are coming out pretty good. And this is a longer one. You notice how this one's longer? And compared to these, look how small these are. So I need to clip my fingernails. I just thought of that. The trolls and the judgmental will attack me for that, but this one is longer. So you just have to be aware of that. You can even you could mark it with tape. Chances are that the slots, the holes into the screws aren't the same size, and you don't want to put a long one into a short one, but logic tells me that. So here's another one right there. Boy, that one's really tight. Oh, sometimes you have to just press down. But another reason why these types of drivers are good is it's hard to, you have to use your hands with these. These are less likely to, here's another long one. These are less likely, here I can see how the difference between these longer ones are. These are less likely to over torque and strip, whereas if you have a larger or an electric screwdriver, it could strip. You just have to, now some of these, there we go, there, that one's coming loose. Some of these were looser than other ones. I don't know if somebody's worked on this computer before or not. Here's another longer one. So they're all, two of them are really short, and they are all in the same area. So you just have to remember that. The three long ones are over here. And if I was a betting man, I would say that these all around this side, so we're talking where the back of the laptop are long, and the ones around the front are short. As a matter of fact, I can test that theory right now. Yep, there's a small one. Can you see that? There's a small one. So the small ones are on the front, meaning you flip the laptop upside down, and then it would be towards the front. See? So that's a good way to remember too. I mean, obviously if you try to screw a long screw down into a short hole, it's, but you still don't want to damage anything. Wow. There we go. And there's another small one. So, alright. There's a small one. And this one will be small, right there on the corner. See, this one was a lot looser. That one didn't require me to press down that much, which is a good thing. I just want to show you that one's small one too. But you could certainly mark with tape, label it, or you could label the screws, or just however you want to do it. Whatever you want to do it. Now this one, probably a long one, right here in the middle. But it's in the middle, so we shall see. Nah, that's a small one. But it was in the middle, so right there. So I was wrong, but this one should be longer because it's in the back row. Ooh, the camera's way out of focus, man. Okay, there it is. Oh, that one's easy to come out. Oh, that one's a small one too. I was wrong about the last two. Okay, but I was right that the long ones are these three right here. So you just have to remember. Now the cover is just should just lift off. I don't know why the camera's, and I can probably zoom out here. I don't need to be zoomed in maybe a little as much. I just wanted to show a close-up of this, you know, the size of the screws and what I'm dealing with. So the cover just comes right off. I didn't have to pull up, you know, I didn't have to rip it apart. It's quite dusty. That's normal. Well, it's not normal, but well, it's average. This isn't too bad. I've seen way worse than this. But yeah, it's got some dust. And my customers, I clean this out. That's how I am. And I even clean the outside. I don't have to do that. When I work on my computers, I like to keep my computers clean. So I figure, well, I like to return my customers' computers cleaner, less scratched up. I try to make, you know, get your computer running like new, and that includes the outside. I try to clean it up like as if it, you know, make it look new if I can. Obviously, if it has tons of scratches, then I can't do much about that. So I can put this down here. Now, here's the battery. Just to let you know, you don't have to mess with it when you replace the hard drive, but that's the battery. And then here's the RAM. Now, not all Macs are the same. This RAM you can take out, but I'm not going to mess with it. Now, that could be the problem. You know, you want a deductive theory. So, but I'm going to mess with that later. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, this is a slot, and it'll come out. On some Macs, the memory is soldered onto the motherboard. This is a slot. And then here's the DVD, the optical drive right here. I'm not going to mess with that. And here's the fan. Now you notice how dusty it is? You might be able to tell. Yeah, you can even tell on the camera. See, if I were to blow a little bit, you see the dust? You might not have been able to see it, but there's a lot of dust. So I'm gonna clean that out, because that can cause the computer to heat up. Here's a gold tip. You may have a computer, or as a computer repair technician, if you notice a computer freezes, slow boot, doesn't run as fast as normal, takes forever to boot up, it could be just because the fan has too much dust. And what you do is you blow it out. I wouldn't recommend canned air, but you can use an air compressor, but you have to be careful. Or even a leaf blower. A vacuum, you don't necessarily want to use a vacuum. You can, but you need to be careful because of electrostatic discharge. And when you're sitting there poking around, they actually make a computer vacuum that also has a blower. Here's the speaker. There's one speaker. It might just have, that could just be the PC speaker. Anything else? This is the main board. This is probably where the battery plugs in. Just thought I'd show you. Here's more connections over here. Some of these are probably wireless. Whoops. Right there, some of them might be the wireless antennas. Okay, so now the hard drive is right here, and we'll even show you it's a Samsung. It's a 128 gigabyte SSD. Very interesting. So they tell you that SSDs are perfect. No, they're not. They have a shelf life, and they do fail. But I'm not 100% certain that I know it's the hard drive yet. I'm leaning towards that, but I just don't know. It could be a corrupt operating system. Apple Macintosh operating systems. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get used to this camera, the way I have it angled. Macintosh operating systems do get corrupt, and you can repair them just like on Windows. But sometimes it's better just to wipe and clean. But when it comes to customer data, I pull the hard drive. If I think the hard drive is failing, I pull the hard drive and I recover the data. All right. So there's an SSD, 128 gigabyte, that could be failing, or it could just be the operating system. Now we have to figure it out. Probably, let's see. I think we probably have to take these out right here. So let me set this down, and the hard drive's right there, and that'll make it easier for me to zoom in, I think. Or, you know what, let me pick up the cover, because that might make the camera zoom in on that instead. Or focus, the focus. So let me, I put it out of the way. Okay, so it won't, and then let me zoom in here. Okay, so I'm gonna, down here there's 2 screws. They're very loose. This one was very loose, so that's good. Same, using the same small flathead. But these are Phillips screws. And here's the size, there's the size of the screw right there. And put that aside. Here's another one that's pretty loose. I'm thinking somebody may have worked on this, but I'm not 100% sure. There's another one, same size. Put that aside. Now, okay, so that moves a little bit. Yeah, you probably have to, and then probably these two, I'm thinking these two right here. Same size. They're loose. That one's tighter. It's a paradox. It's tighter as I loosened it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that one looks like a bigger one. Yeah, those are a little bit longer. And then there we go. That one's really loose. I don't mind screws that are loose, because I'd rather than see. So then this comes out. Don't lose this. I might not have had to. I've worked on Macs, but I work mostly on PCs, but I do know how to repair Macs. I probably didn't need to loosen these, but you know, but this came out. You have to, you know, place it back in the same position, and I'm just going to leave the screw there, and I'm going to probably screw this one down. Why not? And just like that. And then I'm going to set it aside. You don't want to lose that. And I'm pretty sure that the hard drive's going to probably pop out now. And it does. You see? It just sits there. And unplug the power. You notice how I unplug the power? Here, I'll show you. You do not want to open up a computer with the power connected. And you can touch the case just like on a desktop to ground yourself too, if you're worried about that. Now we're just gonna, it just slides out there, and it's got, you have to be careful because look, we're not done yet. And these are made pretty decent, but they can still tear. These ribbon cables, they're called ribbon cables. And all it does is attach to the adapter, and that comes right out. But you don't, I mean, think about it. If I would have just tore this thing apart and didn't take my time, I could have ripped a ribbon cable, then I have to order one, and then I have to eat that. If I tell the customer I ripped the cable, they might say, no, I'm not going to pay for that. And then there it is. There's the SSD hard drive. It's got a protective kind of like anti-static or static guard, or just like back, and then that's it. And then I don't need to take it apart right now, but it does have screws on the side, so you could to take off the shield. And it's got SATA connectors. It's got standard SATA. So this is a SATA SSD. Now what I want to show you is that there's these two, and then when you reverse engineer it, you have to remember that you're gonna put it back like this. So if you do it, turn it this way, well then duh, obviously you can't. But what I want to show you is that there's these are screws, but they also, it fits into the side. Here, I'll flip it upside and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I mean, these are pretty, well made ribbon cables, but you still want to, you don't want to be pulling. And you see the orange connector right there, the two orange connectors. So this hard drive, the ends, I wish that wasn't in the way, but I could take it out. But you know what? I don't want it to, because I probably have to take those screws out, so I don't want to mess with that. I'll just lightly put it there, and then they just snap right down in when you put it back. I don't know if I can do it with just do I have it the right way? Yeah, I do. Here. Now they don't want to go back. Or you know what? Maybe they go this way. Oh, they do go this way. Okay. So I was wrong. So you do, but you connect the cable first, then they fit like this, and then what? Then it slides in like that. But they snap in, so you just have to remember that. And they sit down like that. So you do not want to lose these pieces of rubber. And really, I didn't have to unscrew this screw, but I didn't know which one I had to take out. So what I could do is, since I doubt that I will have to take this out to make this fit, because I just did it, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw those back in. And they were two, so you have to remember which ones. They were these. They were black ones. And that's another reason why I decided to screw those back in there, because these are longer and they're not going to fit in there. They might be wider, and you don't want to put the wrong screws in. And plus, it's less likely that I'll lose them. So I just do weird, you might think it's weird, but I just do things like that just to protect my dumbass. Because if I can repair, and then I don't want to drop the hard drive necessarily. But they don't have platters. But still, if I can repair Macs, then you can repair Macs. So I'm going to tighten those, but not that, they don't need to be that tight. And then this one should be on camera. Oh, that's not on camera. My bad. It should be right there. and that'll save me a little bit of time. And then I risk losing 2 additional screws, because you really do not want to lose these pieces, because the hard drive snaps in like that, and you'd have to order these. And what else? They're made out of rubber, and you do not want the hard drive moving, even an SSD. You don't really want computer components moving around. Alright, so that's it. So in this video, that's all I'm going to show you. I talked a lot, that's why the video took so long. But in this video, I just wanted to show you how to take out the hard drive in a MacBook Pro A12, I think it was 1278. Yeah. Let's see if I can show it to you. Let's see. Should be right above my, whoops. Should be right above there. I don't know if it'll zoom in. Anyways, okay. So then I clean it up. Well, now the inside, you have to be careful. You don't want to shock, but you just touched a big, large metal. The case is made out of metal. But, I dusted a little bit, but you don't want to put liquid. Like, here on the battery, I'll clean that up. I don't take anything else out. No. There's no reason for me. Everything else works. There's absolutely no reason for me to, here, let me zoom out, to dismantle the rest of this Mac. So I just take a cloth and just wipe that off, and then maybe in there a little bit. You can blow it out. You can you can treat it like a desktop computer, but you need to be careful. Vacuum cleaner is dangerous because of the electrostatic discharge, and plus if you're poking around, you don't want, you might accidentally disconnect a cable, and then you go to power it on and it doesn't power on, and then you have to take it apart, and then you have to look and see if you disconnected a cable. So just don't fuck with it. The fan, I'm gonna blow out the dust, and just here, I can even show you what I do sometimes. So just take a cloth and just wipe that off. That's really all you have to do, because dust is computer's nemesis. Dust just isn't very good for computers, and especially if it gets, the fan is clogged up. So that's really all I do, man. While I have it open, just do that. But no electrostatic discharge. And so that's it. My next video, I don't know if it's going to be the next video, but my next video about this Mac, I'm going to show you how I recover data from a Mac hard drive. This has Mac. I'm not sure what version of Macintosh operating system. The customer didn't tell me that. I'll find out. But I use Linux to mount Mac hard drives because they automatically, as long as the hard drive is healthy enough, it will automatically mount the file system, and then I can recover the data. Now there is a free tool I use on Windows, but I usually don't even, that's my second option. If I'm having problems with Linux, then I will use that other application. But actually I've found out that Linux is actually better a lot of times with failing hard drives than actually, Windows. And then plus on Windows you have to find an application that can mount a Mac file system, whereas Linux will do it automatically. So I will show you everything. I'll show you how I hook it up, booting up into Linux, and what I do to recover data. So this was showing you how to take out the hard drive in a MacBook Pro A1278. Adios!